Hello and welcome to BP Gaming Network. We're playing Out of the Park Baseball 19 featuring the Oakland Athletics franchise. This is video number 4. So we are in our second week from opening day, and the team hasn't been doing that well. We'll go through how they've performed over the last few games. Last video we kind of showed you guys the opening day game and a couple of games from the first week. So since then we'll kind of switch over and check out the schedule. So just a little recap. In March we had a 4-game series between Oakland and LA Angels. Game 1, which was opening day, March 29th. You could see Oakland here won that game. They lost the next 2 games in March, and then as of April they won the last game of the series between LA on Sunday, and Monday they started a new series between Oakland and the Texas Rangers. This was a 4-game series, and you can see Oakland didn't fare out very well in that series. They won the first game of the series on Monday, and then lost the next 3 games, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday of that series. So they went 1 for 4 in that series. We'll recap just the games that we didn't show you in the last video, just to see the performance of the team. So the last game of the last series, which was on April 1st between the Athletics and the Angels. Oakland beat the the Angels 5-1. The star performer on that game was Matt Joyce. We'll quickly look at the pitching matchups. Matt Shoemaker was pitching for LA. He didn't really do that well. He had a 6 2/3 innings, gave up 7 hits, 5 runs, 5 earned, 2 walks, 1 home run, and had 5 strikeouts. He threw 101 pitches for a 6.75 ERA. So didn't really do that well. Was relieved by Luke Bard, who pitched in just 1 1/3 innings without giving up any runs. For Oakland, the starting pitcher was Andrew Triggs, who came in and went 5 innings, gave up just 2 hits, 1 run, and it was the earned run. He also gave up 1 walk. He had 7 strikeouts, throwing 75 pitches for 1.80 ERA. The bullpen came into that game and basically shut down the Angels offense for the rest of the game, giving Oakland the chance to win that game. Offensively, Matt Joyce really was the star there. He was 3 for 1 with 2 RBIs. Chris Davis was 4 for 2, also with 2 RBIs. And contributing to the score was also Steven Piscotty, who was 4 for 2 with 1 RBI. So that was a good win for Oakland. And then the next game was Monday, the start of the new series with Texas. Oakland won that game 5-3. Checking out the pitching matchups, Texas sent Bartolo Colon, the 44-year-old right-hander Cuban pitcher, who pitched in 6 innings, gave up 4 hits, 3 runs, 3 earned, 1 walk, and 2 home runs. He also had 5 strikeouts. He threw 93 pitches for 4.50 ERA at the end of the game. He was relieved by Alvarez, who pitched in 1/3 inning and gave up 2 runs, and that was basically the nail in the coffin there when Texas lost that. Why Texas lost that game. As far as Oakland, our pitching was led by Chris Bassett, who pitched 6 innings, gave up 8 hits, 3 runs, 3 earned, 2 walks, 1 home run, had 4 strikeouts. He threw 90 pitches for a 4.50 ERA. So not a bad outing for Chris Bassett, who was playing in his first game after almost a 2 years hiatus from the major leagues. He's healthy. He managed to get through 6 innings, so that's really awesome to see. We'll hope he continues that way. Again, in this game, the bullpen came in, led by Liam Hendricks there, who got the win, and they basically shut down the Texas offense for the rest of the game. For the position players, the offense for Oakland managed to squeak in 5 RBIs, courtesy of Matt Joyce again, who went for 2 for 2 with 2 RBIs. Marcus Semien, who was 3 for 1, also got 2 RBIs in that game, and Chris Davis, who went 4 for 1, had just a 1 RBI. For Texas, there wasn't really much of an offense except for Rougned Odor, who was 4 for 1 and had 2 RBIs, and Delino DeShields Jr. went 4 for 1 with 1 RBI in that game. So another good win for Oakland, and at that point they were 3-2 in their standings. On Tuesday, they faced off again with Texas, still in Oakland, for game 2 of their 4-game series with Texas. And this time they got shut out by Cole Hamels, who pitched outstanding 7 innings, giving up just 6 hits, 1 walk, 7 strikeouts, threw 98 pitches for a .67 ERA. So an excellent showing there for Hamels. Their bullpen came through, didn't give up any hits or runs for 2 straight innings. For Oakland, starting pitcher was Sean Manaea, who was the losing pitcher in this particular matchup. He pitched in 5 innings, gave up just 6 hits, 3 runs, 3 earned, 1 walk. He had just 3 strikeouts. He threw 87 pitches for a 3.75 ERA. The bullpen came through for Oakland again. They didn't give up any runs, just a couple hits, but held it down, although in a losing effort. Offensively, for Oakland, there really wasn't much offense. As you can see, nobody was able to get any RBIs in this game. For Texas, though, they got some contribution from Delino DeShields Jr., who was 4 for 2 with 1 RBI and 2 hits. Also, I believe Tommy Joseph, who went 4 for 1 and got an RBI in there. So that was the game 2. Oakland dropped 3 for 3 in their standings after that game. Sorry, that was game. That was game 2. In game 3 in that series, again, Oakland lost to Texas. Pitching wise, Texas sent Mike Minor to the mound, pitched 6 innings, 9 hits, gave up just 2 runs with 2 of them earned. He threw 85 pitches, had 6 strikeouts for a 2.45 ERA. Their bullpen came after that and held down the opposing offense for Oakland and did not allow any more runs. As for Oakland, the starting pitcher for Oakland was Kendall Graveman, who went 5 innings with 4 hits, just gave up 1 run, which was the 1 earned run. He threw 81 pitches, had 5 strikeouts. and ended up with a 8.44 ERA. Santiago Casilla was the losing pitcher here. He came in, he didn't actually get anybody out, so he didn't actually record an out in that inning, but he gave up 3 runs with 1 hit. So his ERA climbed up to 10.13. Ryan Butcher was the other bullpen pitcher who pitched just 2/3 innings and gave up 1 run, and that was basically the final run that solidified Texas offense and managed to give them a win, 5-2. Offensively, for position players, there was really not a lot of offensive contribution. Again, Matt Olson was the only one with an RBI. Although Chris Davis was 4 for 2, so was Piscotty, and Jake Smolinski was 4 for 3. None of them were able to score to give Oakland a fighting chance here. So 5-2 was the final in that game. And then the last game on Thursday, which was the final game in this series, was another loss for Oakland. They lost 5-3, dropping 3 for 5 in their standings. In that game, we saw pitchers for Texas. Doug Fister was the starting pitcher. He's pitched in 6 innings, just gave up 7 hits, 2 runs, 2 of them earned, had 6 strikeouts, throwing 90 pitches for 6.10 ERA. The remainder of the bullpen managed to hold down the Oakland offense, except for Jepson, who gave up just 1 run from 2 hits in 1 1/3 innings that he threw. For Oakland, we had Daniel Mengden pitching in his 2nd game. He did okay. He went 6 2/3 innings, gave up 5 hits, 2 runs, 2 of them earned, gave up 1 walk, and had 4 strikeouts. He threw 93 pitches for a 4.38 ERA. The bullpen sort of dropped the ball on this one, I would say. You can see Cassier came in, pitched 1 inning, did okay. Catchard came in, went 1/3 innings and didn't give up any runs. Neither did Blake Trinan. Emilio Pagan came in. He pitched in 3 innings, gave up 5 hits, 3 runs, 3 of them earned, had 4 strikeouts, gave up 3 walks after throwing 65 pitches, ended up with a 3.24 ERA. So he ended up being the losing pitcher in this game. Another loss for Oakland there. So let's check out the final standings after those games. So Oakland is now last in their division with a record of 3-5. Seattle is next up with a 3-3 record. Houston moved up from the bottom of that order to the 3rd position with a 4-3 standing. Los Angeles had a 5-2 standing, which puts them in 2nd position in the American League West Division, and Texas takes the lead with a 6-2 record, which makes them the number 1 team in the West Division. So not looking good for Oakland after those games, after about 8 games. Next up will be another 3-game series between Oakland and Los Angeles Angels. So we'll see how they play out in that game, see if they can rebound, and hopefully get themselves out of that last position in that division. You don't want to fall behind in this very tough division, which is also hosting the reigning champs, the Houston Astros, World Series champs in 2017. You don't want to really fall behind because some of those teams can go on some decent runs and they can be hard to beat. So with that, we'll check out our next game, which is today against the Angels. It's the first game of this 3-game series. We'll see Tyler Skaggs and Andrew Triggs for Oakland. Skaggs is 1-0 with no earned runs given up. Andrew Triggs is also 1-0 on his record with a 1.80 ERA. So let's play ball. So there's been a couple changes that we've made so far in our lineup, and the major change came as a result of an injury, actually, which we should touch up on. So this happened in the game between the Angels and Oakland in March 31st. We had an injured player. Boog Powell, our center fielder, was injured, and now he's been placed on the 60-day DL. So he will miss at least 2 months. So we've put him in the 60-day DL, and to replace him, we called up another player. So I'll show you guys the transaction log. So you could see here we had to move players around. So April 3rd, once we got the details of his injury, we placed Boog Powell on the 60-day DL. That meant we had to bring up Dustin Fowler from AAA Nashville. Fowler made his MLB debut in his first game yesterday after being called up, and he played really well in that game. So he's going to be playing center field, but he'll be platooning with Jake Smolinski. So Dustin Fowler will play mostly center field when we're facing right-handed pitchers, and Jake Smolinski will play center field when we're facing left-handed pitchers. Reason for that is that when you look at Smolinski's ratings, right here you can see he fares very well against lefties. His ratings against lefties are for contact. He's just slightly above average. His gap is almost plus average when facing lefties, compared to just when he's facing righties. It's just a plus average. He has more power when he's facing lefties for home runs, which is above average rating. When he's facing righties, it's just less than average, and he tends to avoid a lot more strikeouts and has better plate discipline against lefties. So that makes more sense for us to platoon him with Dustin Fowler. So that's the biggest change. Other than that, we made a little bit more fine-tuned our lineup, and I'll show you guys here. So this is our primary lineup, which is the DH lineup when we're facing righties. We've put Dustin Fowler as the leadoff batter. We demoted Jed Lowry to the 7th spot on the lineup, mainly because he really hasn't been performing well. He hasn't been hitting the ball, hasn't been getting on base as we wanted to. You can see his on base percentage is just .206. And Dustin Fowler, in his first game, he had a 333 on base percentage and a 333 batting average. More than that, Dustin Fowler is also very athletic. You can see his speed is elite level. He also has decent base stealing ability, and also base running. So that's mainly why we've put him at the top of our lineup. Try to get him on base as much as he can. We also made another change on the lineup for second spot. We brought up Stephen Piscotty from the eighth spot, and demoted Matt Chapman down to the 8th spot. Piscotty has been making better contact and also getting on base a lot better than Matt Chapman. Matt Chapman has been struggling. You can see his on base percentage there is .147 compared to Piscotty's what is it there, .303. So I'd rather have Piscotty batting second, just because he can get on base. He also has the power to move the runner if Dustin Fowler gets on base. The number 3 hole, we have now Matt Joyce, who's taken that spot. He's been playing a lot better, at least in the first few games. He really was performing well. He kind of regressed a little bit in the last couple of games. Chris Davis is still the power man, playing extremely well. A .429 batting average with a .500 on base percentage. His slugging .714. So definitely suited for that cleanup position. And then following him is another powerful bat of Matt Olson. And then the 6th position is Jonathan Lucroy. Marcus Semien hasn't also come into his own, so he's currently in the 9th position on our lineup. So that's the update with our lineups and roster moves. We did also make some other minor league moves for the minor league rosters as a result of bringing up Dustin Fowler. Quickly glance through that. So we demoted Kyle Fredericks from AAA to AA Midland. We promoted JP Sportman from AA to AAA. And we also promoted the second baseman Trace Laurer from Advanced A to AA. We sent Eric Martinez from the Single A Beloit to Stockton Advanced A. We also promoted Jesus Fernando Lopez from our Lower A Vermont up to Single A Beloit. So yeah, that's kind of been the team updates, the movements, and now we can actually go straight to our current game. So Oakland facing the Angels. I'm gonna just make a little change here. I do like the system auto-sitting my relievers when they're warming up if they're getting too tired. All right, so we'll get going with the game. I believe this is a night game. And so the system is just creating a few images. So for this game, Oakland is playing at Angel Stadium in LA. And the starting pitcher for LA is Tyler Skaggs. And he's facing our leadoff batter, Dustin Fowler. So let's get this ball on the roll. All right, Dustin Fowler flies out to the right field. Discarded comes in and also flies out to center field, center right. Up next is Matt Joyce in that 3-hole position facing Tyler Skaggs. Nobody on with 2 outs. And that's a line drive double to right field for Matt Joyce. So Matt Joyce is on board at second base. Coming up next is Chris Davis with a run on second and 2 outs. That is a home run, ladies and gentlemen. Chris Davis delivers, hits a home run to right field, scoring 2 runs. So Oakland is on board with 2-0 against the Angels. So the inning continues. Matt Olson is up to bat facing Tyler Skaggs with 2 outs, nobody on for Oakland. And Olson will ground out to the shortstop, and he is retired. That retires the side, and the inning is over. We'll move on to the bottom of the inning. Oakland leads 2-0. So pitching for Oakland is Andrew Triggs, and he's facing the leadoff batter, Andrelton Simmons, for LA. Anderson flies out to center field, and batting up next for LA is Mike Trout, the center fielder. He's got 1 out, nobody on for LA. So Trout hit a ground ball to third base, and Matt Chapman kind of bobbled that one. So he gets an E5, and Trout gets on base at first base. The batter is Ian Kinsler with Mike Trout on first base. 1 out for LA. Trout is trying to steal, and he manages to steal second base. Andrew Triggs should have tried to hold him there, but Trout does have the occasional ability to steal. He does have some okay speed. He has average speed, but he has good stealing ability. So now we have runner on second with 1 out, and the batter is still Ian Kinsler. And Kinsler flies out to left field. Chris Davis catches that, setting down Kinsler. So we've got 2 out for LA. The batter is now Cole Calhoun. Calhoun gets a pop-up fly, infield rule in effect, and that basically retires the side, and the inning is over. We'll move on to the second inning. Batting for Oakland is Matt Chapman, who's batting 6th. Nobody on, nobody out. So Matt Chapman grounds out to the shortstop, and he is forced out at first. Up next for Oakland is the number 7 batter, Jed Lowry. We've got 1 out, nobody on for Oakland. So Jed Lowry hits a fly out to center field, and he's retired. We've got 2 out, nobody on for Marcus Semien. Simeon flies out to the second baseman. Side is retired. Inning over. We'll move on to the middle of the second inning. Batting for LA is Zach Kozat with nobody out and nobody on. He grounds out to the shortstop and he is retired. So we have one out for LA. And up next is Ryan Schimpf batting for LA with one out and nobody on. So Matt Schimpf manages a bunt single, and he is safe at first. So we now have Irana on first with one out, and the batter now is Albert Pujols. Pujols is retired, strikes out swinging. We still have a run on first with two outs for LA, and up next is Chris Young. And Young works out a walk, so now we have a run on first and second for LA with two outs. And now batting is Martin Maldonado. Maldonado just hits one to the first baseman, and he's forced out at first. That retires the side, and the inning is over. We move on to the third inning. Oakland still leads this one 2-0. Batting for Oakland is Bruce Maxwell. Nobody on, nobody out. Maxwell comes through with the double, leadoff double for Oakland. So now they have a man on second, nobody out. And batting next is the leadoff batter, Dustin Fowler. And Fowler grounds out to first base. He's forced out, but that advances the runner to third base. So with one out now, runner on third, and the batter is Stephen Piscotty for Oakland. So Piscotty hits a shallow fly out to center field, and Maxwell does not attempt to score from there. They don't take that risk. We still have two outs. Maxwell is still on third. Now it's Matt Joyce to bat for Oakland. Matt Joyce hits the ground out to the second baseman, who overthrows to the first baseman, and they record an E4 that allows Matt Joyce to get on second, and increases the lead for Oakland now to 3-0. And now batting for Oakland is Chris Davis, who had a home run in his last at bat. We'll see how he does. It's a line drive straight to the third baseman, and he is called out. So that retires the side, and the inning is over. We move over to the middle of the third. Batting for LA is Andrelton Simmons. Nobody out, nobody on. Simmons hits a ground ball to third baseman and Matt Chapman, and he is retired. Mike Trout up next to bat for LA with one out, nobody on. Andrew Triggs manages to strike out Mike Trout, strikes him out swinging. Now we have two out, nobody on for LA, and batting next is Ian Kinsler. Kinsler with a nice line drive to left field, but Chris Davis makes a nice catch, and that retires the side. And now we move this along to the 4th inning. Batting next for Oakland, Matt Olson, with nobody out and nobody on. And Olson is retired, strikes out looking. And that brings up the 3rd baseman for Oakland, Matt Chapman, with 1 out, nobody on. Chapman is also retired. That's back-to-back strikeouts for Skaggs. And now we have Jet Lowry, the 2nd baseman, batting for Oakland. Jet Lowry's bat finally comes alive. He hits a double to left center, and that puts a runner on for Oakland, with Marcus Semien coming up to bat. So we've got 2 outs, run on 2nd for Oakland.
Strike 3, you're out.
And Semien strikes out, so that retires the side. The inning is over. We're going to move on to the middle of the 4th. Calhoun pops up, infield fly rule in effect, and he is retired. Batting next for LA, Zach Kozat, with 1 out, nobody on. And Kozat hits a fly out to right field, and he is retired. So now there's 2 out, nobody on for LA, and now Ryan Schimpf is next up to bat. And Schimpf gets on base again, this time via walk. So the Angels have a runner on first, and Albert Pujols next to bat, and 2 out still for LA. So Pujols hits a shallow line drive to center field, gets himself a single, advances the runner to 3rd base. And so we still have 2 outs for LA. And now we have runners on 1st and 3rd, and Chris Young is up next to bat.
Strike 3, you're out.
Chris Young strikes out, retires the side, inning over. And the game moves on to the 5th inning. Batting next for Oakland, Bruce Maxwell is the leadoff with nobody on, nobody out. That was hit hard. A double for Maxwell. That's his 2nd hit of the game, and he is on base. So a runner in scoring position for Oakland with nobody out. Batting next, the leader, Dustin Fowler, the center fielder. Fowler strikes out, so that makes it 1 out. Runner on 2nd, and the next batter is Steven Piscotty, who hasn't recorded a hit yet. And Piscotty gets on base via a intentional walk. So they walked Piscotty just because of his ability to hit. And so now we'll see Matt Joyce facing Tyler Skaggs with runners on 1st and 2nd. So they're also strategically trying to induce a double play here. Okay. Matt Joyce comes through, hits a line drive single to right center field, and he is now on base. We've got the bases loaded with 1 out for Oakland, And batting next is Chris Davis. So this is an interesting situation for Davis, who has the power to hit home runs, facing the lefty Tyler Skaggs with the bases loaded. Chris Davis comes through with a double of his own and scores 2 runs for the Athletics. That increases the lead to 5-0. We only have 1 out, a runner now on second and third. And Matt Olson is up to bat, so the opportunities look good for Oakland here. We'll see what Matt Olson can do. So Matt Olson flies out to right field. The ball was shallow enough that Oakland did not want to risk running, considering the arm ability of the right fielder for LA, Cole Calhoun, versus the running abilities of Matt Joyce at third base. Now batting for Oakland, Matt Chapman. He's got 2 outs now. Runners still on second and third. Chapman flies out to center field. That retires the side. Oakland increases their lead now to 5-0, and the inning is over. We'll move over to the middle of the 5th inning. Martin Maldonado up next to bat. He's had 1 at bat with no hits, and now he is forced out at first. It's a blooper to the catcher, and he's retired. Andrelton Simmons up next to bat for LA with 1 out, nobody on.
Strike 3, you're out.
And Simmons strikes out. Not having a good day today. So now we have 2 outs, nobody on, and the hitter for LA is Mike Trout. Trout gets himself a hit, a single, right down to right field. So with 2 out, run on first, Ian Kinsler comes up to bat for LA. Andrew Triggs gives up a walk to Kinsler, and that advances Trout to second base. Now we have runners on first and second for LA with 2 outs still. And now up to bat is Cole Calhoun. First pitch is called a strike for Triggs. Second pitch is also a strike. Calhoun falls behind 0-2. That's a ball. So now it's 1-2 for Cole Calhoun. Another ball. That goes to 2-2 now. We have runners on first and second for LA. The pitch count is 2-2 for Cole Calhoun. And now it's a full count for Cole Calhoun. Let's see what they can do here. So Calhoun comes up with a hit for LA, line drive to right field. That scores the runner, Mike Trout. That gives LA is 1 run. So now the score is 5-1. The inning is still alive. Now we have a run on first and third, and batting for LA is Zach Kozak. Kozak hits a line drive, but he's forced out into left field. That retires the side. So LA scores in that inning, making the score now 5-1, and we're at the top of the 6th inning. Batting for Oakland now is Jed Lowry, who's had 1 hit so far. He's 2 for 1, and nobody on, nobody out. It looks like LA is making a pitching substitution. Jim Johnson has come in to pitch for LA. He gets Jed Lowry to hit a fly ball to left field, and Lowry is set down. Batting next for Oakland is Marcus Semien facing Jim Johnson. We've got 1 out, nobody on for Oakland. And Semien grounds out to the shortstop, who forces him out at first. And that retires Semien. So now we've got 2 outs, nobody on. Batter is Bruce Maxwell. He's had the good day today. He's gone 2 for 2.
Strike 3.
Maxwell strikes out. That retires the side for Oakland. And now we move over to the middle of the 6th inning. And Andrew Triggs is still pitching for Oakland. But now they're going to go to the bullpen and see. So a righty is warming up for Oakland, Emilio Pagan. And Andrew Triggs is now facing Ryan Schimpf at the top of the lineup. The leadoff at this stage, with nobody on, nobody out. Schimpf comes up with the double to left center. And now we have a run on second with nobody out for LA. And the batter now is Albert Pujols. And Pujols comes up with a single to center field. Now it gets interesting for Oakland. LA has a run on first and third with nobody out. So we have an interesting situation here. It looks like Pujols might be injured. Chris Young hit a grounder to the shortstop, and they forced out Pujols at second base. Chris Young got on first base as a fielder's choice, but Pujols may have to leave the game. Looks like he's injured. So now we have 1 out, run on first for LA, and batting next now is Martin Maldonado. Maldonado pops up to the first baseman, and he is forced out. So now we have 2 outs, run on first for LA. Batting next is Andrelton Simmons. And Simmons comes up, hits a fly ball to center field, and he's retired. So LA manages to get a run in that inning, so now the score is 5-2. They reduced the lead. Now they're only losing by 3 runs. And now batting for Oakland is Dustin Fowler, facing Jim Johnson.
Strike 3, you're out.
Fowler strikes out. And that brings up Steven Piscotty to face Jim Johnson with 1 out, nobody on for Oakland. Piscotty hits a line drive. He flies out to right field, to center field. So we have 2 retired for Oakland, nobody on. And up to bat now is Matt Joyce.
Strike 3.
And Matt Joyce strikes out swinging. So there's going to be a pitching change for Oakland. We'll bring in Emilio Pagan to replace Andrew Triggs, and we'll get another pitcher warming up here, just in case Pagan doesn't have his stuff today. So he'll be facing Mike Trout. Trout comes in, it hits a solo home run to center field, makes the score now 5-3. So not the start that Emilio Pagan was looking for. Ian Kinsler comes up with a single to center field. Now he's on first base. Pagan throws to first base, trying to keep Kinsler from advancing. Cole Calhoun is up to bat with nobody out, run on first for LA. So Pagan gives up a walk to Cole Calhoun, and now things get interesting. We've got runners on first and second. Batting now for LA is Zach Colzat, nobody out. So Pagan hits a fly out to center field, and he's retired. So we have now 1 out with runners on first and second for LA. Batting for LA now is Ryan Schimpf. So Schimpf flies out to center field again, center right basically, but that's going to be scored as a sacrifice fly as the runner from third scores, and now the score is 4-5. So Oakland is still leading 5-4, and we've seen enough of Emilio Pagan, so he will be set down. Liam Hendricks will replace Pagan And batting next for LA is Luis Valbuena.
Strike 3, you're out.
So Valbuena is retired, and that retires the side. LA manages to get 2 runs in that inning, so the score again is 5-4. Oakland still leading by 1 run, and we now advance to the 8th inning. We have a pitching change for LA. Jose Alvarez comes in to pitch for LA, facing Chris Davis as the leadoff. Looks like Chris Davis gets himself a walk, so now we have a run on first. Nobody out for Oakland, and Matt Olson comes up to bat. So somehow Martin Maldonado managed to pick off Chris Davis from first. So now we have 1 out, nobody on for Oakland. All right, so looks like Alvarez just gave up a walk to Matt Olson. So now we have a run on first and 1 out for Oakland. We have the third baseman, Matt Chapman, coming up to bat. And I'm going to take this opportunity to see if we can make a defensive substitution here. See if we have somebody who can play third base. Okay, so everybody that I have is actually right-handed batters. I was hoping for, let's see, yeah, so that's good. We got Chad Pinder and Mark Canna. I'm gonna bring in Mark Canna to hit for Matt Chapman. That doesn't pan out. Mark Canna strikes out swinging. So now we have 2 out for Oakland. Runner still on first. Batting next, Jet Lowry.
Strike 3, you're out.
And Jet Lowry strikes out swinging. So Oakland doesn't capitalize on that walk. So now we move over to the middle of the 8th inning. The score is still 5-4 Oakland. So Chris Young comes up. He gets himself a hit to left field. So now LA has a run on first, nobody out, and looks like Liam Hendricks is injured and we may have to take him out of the game. So not what we were expecting or hoping for, but still part of the game. We've got an injured pitcher, so now Blake Trinet comes in to replace the injured pitcher. Martin Maldonado strikes out looking. We still have a run on first, 1 out for LA, and batting next Anderson Simmons. So Simmons comes up with the bunt that advances Chris Young to second base, and Mike Trout is up next. This is where we shall use the intentional walk and get Trout on base. I would rather go after Ian Kinsler. And that works out as planned, as Ian Kinsler grounds out to the shortstop, and he is retired. So that retires the side. As we move on to the top of the 9th inning, and a new pitcher for LA, Blake Parker, is up to pitch for LA, facing Marcus Semien. Nobody out, nobody on. Top of the inning, top of the 9th inning.
Strike 3.
And Marcus Semien strikes out swinging. He's just had that kind of a day. Bruce Maxwell is up next, facing the right-handed pitcher. Bruce Maxwell has had an outstanding day today. He also strikes out swinging. Retires 2 for Oakland. So now we have 2 outs, nobody on, and Dustin Fowler comes up to hit. And he grounds out to the second baseman. That retires the side. And now we move over to the middle of the 9th inning. Let's see if Oakland can hold this win and stop LA from scoring any runs here. So Blake Treinen is still the pitcher. Cole Calhoun is now the leadoff for LA. Nobody on, nobody out. Bottom of the 9th. The score is 5-4 Oakland. And Calhoun hits a little short blooper to the pitcher, and they retire him, force out at first base. So 1 down, 2 more to go. Nobody on, nobody out. 1 out, sorry. Zach Koza comes in and gets himself a walk. So the tying run is now on first base. And it looks like Blake Treinen might be might have reached his stamina limit there. He looks like he's getting tired. He's got 21 pitches. So we're going to bring in Yasmero Petit to see if he can close out this game for Oakland. Petit facing Ryan Schimpf. Strikes out Ryan Schimpf. So now we're down to our last batter for LA. We still have a runner, the tying run on first with 2 outs for LA. Now batting for LA will be Luis Valbuena. And this is where I bring in my lefty specialist. Ryan Butcher, I know he hasn't warmed up, but I will take my chances. I want lefty versus lefty for this last out. Here we go. So that didn't work out as planned. Luis Valbuena manages to get on base via walks. Ryan Butcher will remain and see if he can get Justin Upton out. So up next, Justin Upton batting with 2 outs, runners on first and second for LA. And looks like Justin Upton just hit a ground ball to the second baseman, and they force him out at first. That retires the side, ends the game, and Oakland wins the game. So it wasn't the purest, cleanest wins, but looks like Oakland persevered. They came through towards the end there and stopped LA from from scoring any more runs. They were gaining momentum starting from the 5th inning. Our bullpen seemed to kind of struggle there, but we came through and held up, and that gives us the win. So I'm very excited. Oakland now advances their count to 4-5 in the division. So well-deserved win. All right, so we have other changes to make here, but we shall address those behind the scenes. For now, this was a great win for Oakland. They're still last in their division, but now their win and loss count now is 4-5. We'll also see what we need to do to manage the injury to Liam Hendricks. So according to, we already have some info, Liam Hendricks just suffering from forearm soreness. So it's a minimum injury. That means that he'll just be day to day. The injury might last just 3 days. So we might just sit him out for 3 days, but we don't have to put him on the DL. So that brings us to the end of this particular video. On the next video, we'll give a recap of any other changes we've made as we progress on with the 2018 season for the Oakland A's franchise. So thanks a lot, guys, for watching. Please subscribe if you like these videos. Comment if you have ideas, suggestions, and we definitely would love to hear from you guys. So again, thank you, and hope to see you on our next video.